Let's go. Get your hands in the air now. Right now. I said it goes like this. Her name was Lois Lane, and it wasn't their fault. They couldn't help but gawk when she walked into the room. She had on cheap perfume, some kind of jealous gloom. These boys would act like they would laugh, but I could tell they wanted to follow her back to her room. As for myself, I put the notion right on the shelf. How hard it is to be blown away, 'cause I could clearly not withstand the damage of falling for Miss Lois Lane. She started walking out when I decided to plead for her heart. She shine. They would stare and you know why, all dolled up like it was prom night. And I can't help but think of her right now. 'Cause her name was Lois Lane, and it wasn't their fault. They couldn't help but gawk when she walked into the room. She had on cheap perfume, some kind of jealous gloom. These boys would act like they would laugh, but I could tell they wanted to follow her back to her room. 'Cause her name was Lois Lane, her name. As for myself, I put the notion right on the shelf. How hard it is to be blown away. I clearly could not withstand the damage of falling for Miss Lois Lane. My name is Clark, and I love her.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Uncommon Podcast, our 194th live stream. It is Aloha Friday. Let's go, baby. We have made it to the end of the weekend. We are here. It is time to relax and chill. It's one of our favorite shows of the week. I can't wait to have a conversation with the guy in the studio. It has been a long time coming. And guys, we also have some music videos we're going to be premiering at the end of the show. We also have some donated giveaways from some community members. It's going to be an action-packed show. But before we even start, let's get the boss in the studio. D, how are you?
Where is the boss?
Stop.
Hello. I was gonna say good morning. Happy Aloha Friday to you, Hinano.
Good morning.
It's Aloha Friday. No work till Monday.
Start dancing, Delco. Start dancing.
Yeah, it's been a really hot but beautiful day. And yeah, it was kind of like lazy for me. I don't feel like I did a lot as I probably should have, but it's okay. It's Friday. Yeah, and we're just gonna chill, hang out, and talk about music. So that's really cool. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Hinano? And how are you, by the way?
I am great. We had a really good day today. We met with some old people we haven't seen in a very long time, and so that was very special. And so, yeah, I've been on a high since then. But I'm great, actually. I'm having a good time. Not working anymore. Man, yesterday was kind of crazy at work. The daylight savings kind of stinks when you're in a communications business if you don't remember that the clock's reset. And unfortunately, you know, we're supposed to remember this stuff, D, and we did it. And it was very foobar. I had to work late last night, but that's okay. You know what? It is what it is. 'Cause I ain't working today. Yeah. It's Aloha Friday. I'm off work, and I'm ready to have a good time. So, but before we start, we have a commercial break. We will be right back.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our sponsor. We interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcasting with a special message from Wonder Woman and She-Hulk.
Hello, my fellow sisters. We would like to take a moment to recognize the amazing women of the VeVe community. The support, honesty, and friendships these women share are unmatched. May this day be a reminder of your strength and the powerful impact you have on each other.
We would also like to recognize the amazing men in the community for their kindness and support, as well as the many ways in which they continue to help these women shine.
We want every girl to know that her voice can change the world.
Wonder Woman, She-Hulk digital collectibles are available on VeVe. Collectors together, collectors forever, collectors at heart. Let's go.
Love the voice.
The perfect
Oh,
voice.
so good.
Yeah, Shane.
Guys,
Ooh.
tune in to VeVe Radio every Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This week's guest is in the chat, actually. It is none other than Slider. Man, you guys are just getting first appearances after first appearances. I love it. I love that one. So, like, I love making these little commercials for you guys, but that one had the visual aspect. And I love seeing Big Bro as the host, like, with the Aloha shirt and he's standing up.
I know.
You can see him so energetic. I mean, like, that live stream was my favorite. Like, mainly because of the visuals, because we could see you guys, and I really enjoyed that, though. But
Yeah.
anything you want to add to that, Dee, before we get started? I know we got the guests waiting for us at the studio.
I think it adds like a little bit more personal touch, and it's kind of cool to like switch it up a bit. It's like VeVe Radio but live, so that was like a really cool aspect to it. Oh, he's gonna have to go back and re-listen Vegan Things, but it's a great
Okay,
song.
we have some music videos at the end of the stream that will show you guys some new stuff, so you haven't missed
Ooh.
anything, my friend. Thank you for coming by and hanging out.
Look at Raven. It was awesome. Way to rub it in, Raven.
Shout out to our moderator, Raven, right there.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. All right. I think it's time to get our guests in the studio.
Yes.
Who do we have today?
We've got the music man, Delco Dude. Let's bring him in.
Let's go. All right. We'll be right back, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the AI musician himself, Delco Dudes.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, Delco?
The
Not
face
much.
to the PFP. Let's go, guys.
You got it. Yeah, should I be doing the? and
Yeah, there you go.
Crazy
how are you doing
guy.
today, my friend?
How are you guys today?
We're good. We're good. Yeah, we're a little bit I don't know, we're a bit excited today. You know, it's Aloha Friday. I was telling Delco in the waiting room you know, how special Aloha Friday is for us in Hawaii. It's literally a weekly holiday. Well, not a holiday, but a celebration, right? You know, It's
Right.
basically you hang out with your friends, your family, you talk story, and that's what we do every Friday if we're not working. So,
Perfect.
but how are you,
I
man?
love it. I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be here. As I was kind of telling you behind stage, it's a long time coming. I feel like, you know, we've kind of interacted, obviously, on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, about the music, about VeVe, about a lot of, you know, similar passions. So I'm excited to kind of dive into all of it.
Let's go. And thank you so much for showing your pretty face today to everybody.
I
It's
figured
a lovely
what
thing.
better place to do it than here on your guys' show. So
We appreciate that. Another notch off the belt, D. Let's go.
Let's go. That's so exciting, though. Thank you for, you know, being able to trust us to, you know, show your face on camera to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, Again, you guys have
that's-
created such a wonderful show here, and I really do
Thank
look forward to it every Friday. Make sure as soon as I see that notification, I'm in there. I know you see me in the chat from time to time, so whenever I'm free, I'm in there.
Thank you. This is our favorite show out of like the 5 billion shows we do. This is our favorite show. This is where you really see us in our element and our skin. So I'm glad that you get to experience this with us today, as well as everyone in the chat. Thank you for Kryptoni right here. He has gifted 5. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought he gifted. He's a 5-month membership right there. That's even better. That's even better, guys. You guys got to keep up with this guy right here. That means he's got a green microphone right there. Let's go, Kryptoni. Good to see you, brother. Also, guys, we have a community-sponsored giveaway, and it's from none other, Atem. I don't know if you're hearing me, brother, but it is from you this time. So shout out to Atem. And you guys are going to like what we have because it's a first appearance of a specific character on the blockchain. But I'll announce that a little bit later. But if you guys want a chance to win something in chat, type in hashtag the Aloha Spirit, because that's something that is missing in the world, and we're trying our best to perpetuate that out. So do that right now. And D, anything else before we get started?
The little prince is saying hello. He just woke up, so he's gonna be making his noises here. But
it's gonna be very vocal.
There he is.
So I'll start it off first then. So Delco, it's kind of like we always start off here with. We always want to find out how you made your journey here. Specifically, how did you get into VeVe? Was it through Web3? Was it through crypto? Were you just perusing, the iOS App Store and you saw it? Tell us your journey on how you got here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from more of a gaming background. So I wasn't really on Twitter. I wasn't on any of those kind of things before VeVe. Yeah. I was on Twitch all the time watching content there. And so what kind of happened was COVID hit. I was stuck at home. And you find yourself kind of, as you said, scrolling through the app stores. But what I looked for was I have a history in terms of work in finance. So I've done corporate trust, home equity, mortgages, you name it, I've probably touched that financial product. So for me, stocks were always kind of something I never really looked into because I always thought, oh, you need to have an advisor. You need to kind of go through a middleman, this kind of that. And that's when, Robinhood got pushed, Webull got pushed, all these different apps. And it's like, wow, they made buying this really easy. And so that kind of got that bug of, oh, I can kind of start investing in these companies. And then I realized, which I had kind of known, the whole day trading patterns, you can't kind of flip stocks. And that's where crypto came in. I was like, okay, I can trade this all day. I can trade it when I want. If I'm up at 2 a.m., let's see what the market's doing. So it was just that kind of continuous, not a game, but continuous market activity that you kind of find enjoyment out of. And so I found on Twitch a streamer named Dr. Degen. And so I need to give him some props because, he's in his own world. He does crypto. He's from Wall Street. But he's got his own style. And so it really intrigued me. I'd watch a lot of him. And that's when the crypto market started booming and you kind of had all that interest. And from there, he's the one who introduced me. And he actually had back in the day when Reese was at the company, and kind of doing a lot of the publicity, like real early days. Yeah. I had him on his stream on Twitch. And I was like, okay, I kind of see what they're doing with the crypto side of it. But I'm kind of interested in the actual NFT. If it is an NFT, I'm interested in these collectibles. And so, yeah, there we go. Vegan. Yeah. Dr. D was a huge influence in that space. He kind of probably introduced a big wave of those first initial users. And then once I got it and I started buying unicornos of all things, I was like, I don't know. Love it.
We don't judge here. We listen and we don't judge. That's what I hear.
Pony unicorn thing right here in my living room. This is awesome. And then that's where the AR started, and I started taking pictures with those. And then it was like my wife, actually, she rock star, by the way, she's with our son and allowing me to be here. Thank you. She was the one who I want to say she believed in it a little more because she's over there buying Batman, buying Joker, and I'm over here like,
honey, where's the card?
Go in a Stelina. I mean, 15 gems. That seems like a lot, but you're over here dropping the money. All right. And so it was really cool to see both her interest in it and mine, and it was kind of a bonding thing as well. Especially when you're in that lockdown, it's like, what can we find to kind of fill some of this time where we aren't able to go out, we aren't able to do those things. And also one thing that I don't think it gets overlooked, but we only have a 2-bedroom house. So it's like the space, especially when you have a nearly 3-year-old, they start getting more of the house than you do. So it's like, when it comes to space for collectibles, you can see I have some stuff behind me. That's about it in terms of physical stuff. So VeVe, allowing to just have as many things as you want right there in your pocket, that was awesome. So that was one of the things. Through Twitch, I found that. And then through VeVe, I actually got Twitter or X. I started an Instagram based on VeVe AR photos. So it really propelled, and it all kind of started away from the scene. So it's cool how we all found it.
Yeah, no, I have a similar story in a sense. So, and I've told it a few times, and I won't be long, but my chiropractor got me into NFTs, and I was just like you. So I've been in the stock market since 2016, and I got lucky with Tesla stock, but I got lucky with timing, and it's just luck. It's not like I planned it, right? Like, so, but I was buying Tesla stock really early, and I had a really good amount, and it was at a good price, but this was right before COVID hit, and Dee and I was going to leave the company we were with and start our own business. And so I pulled everything out that I had, and I got lucky because then COVID hit and the market dumped. And I put it all back in the market, and I put it back into the things that I knew the best thing, which was Meta. At the time, it was Facebook. I put it back into Square, and I put it right back into Tesla stock. And it was Tesla stock that really helped us out. And so I've been kind of like playing on that house money ever since then. And I even owned a Bitcoin at one time, but I'm like Tesla stock, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Stupid, you know what I mean? Because at the time you could buy it for $3,000. So I'm like, well, Tesla stock's way better. You know what I mean? It's got a TAM. I know the business, right?
So much room to grow. Yeah, no, I got it.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, right.
And that worked out for
me. And at the time, it was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it still worked out. I mean, it went through a couple splits. I mean, it went up to like 2,500 plus. So it worked out for me. And so like getting into VeVe, I got into VeVe like around the Voltron drop, like right when the peak was coming down.
Right.
So even though I got in through the peak, and yeah, I'm underwater on a few things. I think
if you've been in here long enough, everyone's underwater on one or two things, for sure.
But I never treated it as like, an investment that was my full thing. Like, yes, we all came in here for the money aspect, right? But then it changed over time when we started getting into the collecting aspect, or should I say the collecting came back. That's what helped invigorate it for me. But needless to say, we're here in the journey. We had something similar. I love to hear that kind of stuff. What was the first drop you went for? And kind of give us the idea of how it went for you. I tried to go for Voltron, and every time I tell the story is like I showed up at 6:01. Because at 6 in the morning, that's what time drops are for us. It's 6 in the morning here. Oh, man, I showed up at 6:01, and I thought it was early, Delco. And I get there, and I'm like, why is everything sold out? But yet there's another marketplace, right? There's a store and a marketplace. I was so confused, and I'm like, and that thing was expensive, right? Like I think like the secret rare was like 100 plus at one time. Right. So yeah, that was
when all the things were different prices. You could buy which one you wanted. It's funny when I talk to people who are newer in VeVe and they say like, oh, this app is just like, it's slow, or it's this, or it's that. It's like, when I came in, you could buy something sometimes first if it didn't crash on you every 10 minutes. You had to be in there 15 minutes before the app like even tried to drop anything if it was going to work that time. And so it's like, when I see the progress, it has gone so far within such a small time frame, especially being someone who's worked with some really large companies. I've worked with one of the biggest banks in America. I've worked with one of the biggest insurance companies here. And I tell you, when you try to change a process, and it could be that, those companies are larger, there's a lot more channels to go through, a lot more approval, but just the simplest thing can take months. So when you really look at it, especially coming with that financial background, when they were getting things like the money transfer license or the money transmitter license, you have to get that approved in America, but then any other country you're doing business in, there's going to be more paperwork and more approvals needed, let alone if you have to then have every IP sign off on those things to allow it to begin with. Something I assume is probably going on with the VeVeverse as well, where they have to now go up front and tell these licensors, hey, if you do business with us, your collectibles from now on will be in the VeVeverse. Where I think before they kind of had to backpedal and say, hey, are we okay to do this? Going forward, I think that's going to be an easier kind of thing. But I always look back to where we've come from with that app, and some of the upgrades that they've done, just again, just app functionality, it's come so far. But one of those first drops, I'm trying to think like what the real first drop I went for was. And for some reason, it sounds like it might have been the DeLorean, but I know it was probably something a little sooner than that because I was in there real early. Tomorrow is actually my 4-year anniversary.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, it was just the functionality. I remember getting DeLoreans and the app crashing multiple times, trying to get it, not knowing if I got it. And then maybe hours later saying, oh, I did get them. So yeah, it was probably that. But there were things I bought beforehand. When I first joined the market, you couldn't even use the market. It was closed for a month. So imagine just buying collectibles and doing nothing with them. So yeah, it was interesting. And you know, if you can make it through that, I feel like anything else now at this point, you've seen progress. If you want to complain,
We're battle tested,
feel free.
Delco. Yeah.
So,
We've weathered the storm. No, I completely agree. And I kind of want to put in perspective. So I'm in communications, specifically tech. And
Okay,
so one of the first things that we accomplished here was we were one of the first hosted PBX providers. So, and I guess you could probably Google that and we may pop up, but yeah, so and that was hard because being a hosted provider was tough here. You know, a lot of people, they didn't want to let go of their legacy phone lines, analog. I mean, we still have analog till this day here. That's how Hawaii works. We're very antiquated over here. But when we were trying to build out our app, and I was a part of that build out, it took us 5 years. And after 5 years, it ran like crap. It took another 2.5 years to streamline that thing. And it wasn't necessarily our fault. You know, at the time, broadband was different for everybody in their place. You know, depending on the output or input you'd have, you know, downloads or upload speeds, that would dictate how you would have an experience. And so how do you correlate that? How do you make that function for every single person, where every single person has a different scenario in their business? And so it took us a long time to streamline that. And sometimes you had to wait for the tech to be invented to do that, which is essentially what happened. And so I'm proud to say that that app is functioning properly. I just want to, it's definitely open. I want to show it just so people don't think I'm BSing here. So yeah, okay, cool. I can cover up our emblem. So basically this is the app right here. And so I was a part of this development right here. Essentially, you get free long distance, free video calls, free SMS, all that jazz, all through our hosted service that's all hosted by us. We're your telephone company. We do everything on the back end. We're basically your quality of service, your ACD agents, all hiding behind this, you know, the scenes. But it took 8 years. 8 years. And then you got to do labs. You got to do testing. And then you got to apologize to your customers who have been loyal to you for all this time because you made promises and you couldn't keep those promises because of the tech. You know what I mean? Even though the tech said you could do
it.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those things where you've lived it, so you get it. I've lived it in different ways, so I get it. And so sometimes when I read some of those things on Twitter or something, it's just like, I get it if you've never experienced it until now.
Yes.
If VeVe is your first time, same with investments. If it's your first investment, I can get how people are angry.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, as you said, kind of, it's not really an investment anymore. It truly is. We've moved to that collector part. It is giving an option for the future. And, you know, I know they used to say they want to be the Walmart of NFTs. And, you know, every step they're making, every partnership they're making, every IP they gain, they're growing. Whether it be 5 people who love a certain IP or 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is. Some of those are going to be so diehard. They're going to be like me. They're going to come in. You know, if there were sports or baseballs or championship rings or anything like that, I'd be right in there and I'd be buying. And then I'd go to the market and say, hey, look what else there is. Oh, I love this. I love that. And you're going to start picking some of those things out. So it is kind of about growing a user base, but it is going to be a slower thing. And, you know, if you look out further, there is some beauty within VeVe. But I think a lot of people are very short-sighted when it comes to it.
And for me, I try to put myself in everyone's shoes, even people that are labeled fudders. I try to give people chances because I want to understand. And some people, you just can't understand them. They're just either they're too far gone or they don't want a resolution. They just want to bark. But then there are people
and those
that
ones
have
that are too far
legitimate
gone.
reasons.
I kind of
yeah.
And the ones that are too far gone, I feel you.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you start doing like personal attacks, it's like, okay, yo, bro, you know. But like,
exactly. And then I think about what's that person saying when they come in to work on Monday. They're like, "What'd you do this weekend?" Oh, I trolled people on Twitter about a collectible app. Like, big points, dude. And like,
I just let it just beat off my shoulder and just keep going because like it's all
Oh,
noise
yeah.
in the end. But yeah, I mean, but like they've made some strides over the years, and we're still here, we're still kicking. What I love about what this space has done for me and D specifically is it's helped us get back into the fandom. I used to collect before, and so that's why we're still here. That's what resonates the most to me is like the first collectible that I saw that really resonated with me was that DeLorean, because Back to the Future is my favorite fandom, my favorite trilogy. It's something that I'm going to indoctrinate my son into no matter what. Like, I'm going to put you in front of TV. You're going to watch 1, 2, 3 until you're sick of it. You know what I mean? Until it's embedded in your brain. And then you're going to do that to your kids, right? So, but that's kind of what it did for me. And then when I saw the comic books, and I was like, oh my goodness, I used to collect comic books as a kid, So like, and that's what brought it back. And the best part of all this was my family started collecting with me. My wife started doing this, which has helped her with her public speaking. You said that you've been watching us for a while. By getting into this collecting space, we've been able to do this medium, network with people. And my most biggest thing about this is I really love this space, the Web3 space. And I really want to be a part of this and I help perpetuate it, because I feel if we can help push this space forward and bring more people in, because kids, you don't have to tell kids about this stuff. Like my daughter gets this stuff. Like I fired at the VeVeverse and like we just let her go and we didn't tell her nothing and she just went for it. So, or just like digital products, like she's always bugging me for Robux, And it's a funny thing though, Delco, it's like I said years back, like and Minecraft.
That's the thing with kids. Like they do pick up on it right away.
They do pick it up right. I think we might have a delay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? It seems a little laggy.
I think we have a small delay with him. So if I'm speaking out of term, I'm very sorry. Here we go. Why don't you ask the questions?
Well, we were talking about how like kids can just pick up the technology so quickly. And that's so true. And that's like they're so used to it now. You just put like a device in front of them. They already know like what to do with it. You don't have to watch a YouTube video to explain it to them. It's like they were born for this kind of stuff. But what I wanted to touch on was, you've been here for quite a long time, and it is going to be your VeVe-versary tomorrow, which is awesome. So I kind of wanted to know, like, for you being here so early in the space, what has been like one of your most memorable or like times during the whole being in VeVe space, like any kind of memorable thing that stood out for you, and also like what's really kept you here all this time, through the ups and the downs, like why were you like still here in the space?
Absolutely. Let me start. You guys can hear me, right? And there's no delay anymore.
Yeah, you got a quick delay. Maybe jump out and come back in, because like I think there's like a 5 to 8 second delay from your response. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 sec.
We'll be right back with Delco, guys, until he comes back. There's some latency issues with his connection, so we'll get right back to that. But this is really cool. I'm really enjoying the conversation. I can't wait till we start talking about music. He was one of the people that actually entered the battle of the AI bands, and that was one of the songs that people really resonated with, which was the drop song, right? So that was really cool. But
that was really cool. And
guys,
to talk to him about his music.
Let me tell you guys what we are going to be giving away today while we get Delco to come back. Let me share my screen really quick, everybody.
Yep.
YouTuber. Yeah, right there. So we're going to have the first appearance of Norman Reedus on the blockchain. You're going to be able to I think he came back in. There we go. You're going to be able to collect what's this guy's name again? I forget his name already. Daryl. That's it. Daryl Dixon. So shout out to Atem. This is donated by him, as well as this is from Kid Arcade's Light Parade collection. You're going to be able to win a Marvel Secret Wars. So we got a Daryl Dixon right here. First appearance of the first Walking Dead character on the blockchain, as well as his Secret War. And we have Delco Dude back. Welcome back, my friend.
All right. Can you hear us now?
Hey, hopefully it's working now.
It's working. Let's go.
Okay. We
Okay,
got you.
perfect. So yeah, I think you had kind of mentioned VeVe in terms of what's kept me here and kind of why I've stayed, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to also celebrate your anniversary.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, 4 years, which is pretty cool. I would say it's a pretty easy answer, honestly. It's watching and being a part of the community, especially kind of having that outside where, again, this is the first time I've really been on a show, but being able to watch people like yourselves kind of go from coming into the community and growing something as big as this is, going from 1 or 2 shows to now I think you have a show every day. Is that right?
We're not that big. We're pretty tiny, but we're aspiring. So
No, it's awesome, and the commitment and the consistency.
thank you.
I love to see it. So again, when you take that and you see other members of the community, I could sit here and name every single one of them, but there are plenty of shows throughout the day, plenty of spaces, and to watch just the community. And I see it when you guys go to cons and things like that, and the friendships that are being made. Yes, VeVe has made collecting easy. Yes, VeVe has made my love for AR photos with characters I love easy. It's made the whole collecting journey fun again. And, the biggest part is definitely the community. And that's why I'm so excited with the VeVeverse. And I think that's one of the main things, I'm upset like anyone, it took so long to get there. But again, when you think about why it took so long, when you actually think about what they build and getting everything approved and building it from scratch, essentially, that's awesome. But then having that gaming background for me, the creativity and knowing what can be done in that kind of platform and the experiences that can be made, that's what's really keeping me really engaged and really excited. I don't know if you've ever played Fortnite and some of the concert experiences they have there, but one of my ultimate goals would be to see VeVe kind of have its own concert hall. You could do talent shows of some weird way in a metaverse. You could do concert performances. You could set up some kind of ticketing system. People who attend get a poster for that event. So the actual different abilities and room for growth is just, it's unparalleled, really. So I'm excited for that regard because of those licenses too. You're going to have some heavy hitters on board with whatever they do.
I agree with you specifically with the VeVeverse, and I think we've all waited a long time. But for me, like now that we have it, I'm very patient with what they're doing with it, mainly because of what I described about being in tech myself. Like we're getting constant updates. That's normal. You know what I mean? Like I suspect we're going to get a ton more and expect it, right? There's going to be issues with certain things. We're going to have lag. That 2 gig memory thing sucks, but that's because they just launched it. There's not that much processing power. I'm assuming they only have a certain server farm they're renting or something like that. And so over time, they're just going to build their back-end resources bigger, stronger, and more robust in order to deliver what you're saying, to give us these outlets so we can perform concerts, so we can do heavy things in this construct. Exactly. And so I was trying to explain years back when Minecraft came out, I told my daughter, wow, this is a piece of crap. Nobody's going to like this. And I was completely wrong about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people are saying the same thing about this. And I understand people have expectations about certain things. You're told something and you want a certain expectation. You want to deliver it a certain way. We're all different. You know what I mean? It's like what I was saying, everyone has a different internet connection. Mm-hmm. Also, everyone has a different personality in this space, right? So you never know what's going to be the outcome, but
oh yeah.
Anyways, so it's going to take some time to do a lot of things that we want and we envision we can do. And I'm surprised we're able to do some of the stuff that we're doing now with them just releasing it in a week or so. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think it's going to win any AAA game things.
Some of the things I've seen, if you want my honest opinion, Like some of the things I've seen are it's just remarkable already. I did not
Yes.
expect when it launched. I did not expect it. Being a gamer, I've had my time in things like The Sims all the way up to Planet Coaster recently. Any type of building game. You said Minecraft. Like, yeah, if you're an outside person and you look at Minecraft, dude, the graphics are terrible. Like, if I'm looking at it, there's no fun to be had. And then once you build, you get it. Once you start digging in that environment and you get the concept of it, it's addicting. And the same can be said if you look at anything on VR. I don't know if you've kind of dived into that at all.
She has.
But I had that on PlayStation, then I have the Meta Quest now, and some of those worlds, just what you can see is there. It's going to come to VeVe. Like, there's no way you can not recreate some of those experiences. And again, when you have that IP mixed in, it's just what you can build, and with licensed things, it's going to be miles different than people just importing their own content.
And I agree with you on how it looks. In fact, we had a person from Decentraland on the podcast yesterday, and he's been to every metaverse. And the one thing he told me about the VeVeverse from every metaverse was it looks real. And I was like, really? Like, yes, it looks real. It doesn't look cartoony. And you're right. Like, if you look at and I'm not dogging anyone else, you know what I mean? It's however their construct looks, right? Most of these look very cartoony. If you remember Meta, right? They look very oblong. So, yeah, it's interesting how it got launched, and I'm pretty surprised by it. So I'm looking forward to see what we can do with it. And I wanna like have a space for everybody to go in there and interact and have fun. Like, and I can understand why for you, you're like, oh, you get it, right? We're both creatives. Like, you make music, I make music. I can tell already you're a gamer, so you have that creative mind. And you were just saying, like, you had all these things in your head, and like now you have different outlets to express it. And I'm the same way. If not, my wife gets nuts, because then I'm like, well, check this out. I got all these things I want to do. It's like, well, go do it. Well, I don't know how, you know what I mean? And now I have a medium to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
what I think is cool too is like we have an outlet, but at the same time we're able to bring our collectibles from like different IPs, like intermingling in the space, because sometimes there are certain IPs that don't want to mix with, like Disney doesn't want to mix with I don't know, give me something else that they don't have. You know what I'm talking
they're
about,
involved
right?
with everything.
Yeah, I was like, what
I know
are they
exactly
not
what you
involved
mean.
in?
Yep.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
There we go. Yeah, perfect one that I can't wait to come to VeVe.
Right? Yeah, coming soon, right? Right around the corner.
Actually, what I want Ghostbusters, like the Ghostbusters. Can we have them with the proton pack? You know what I mean? There you go. He wants
that would
it
be
too.
Awesome. Yep.
But let's change gears here real quick. Let's start, since we're talking about creativity, let's talk about music. Let's talk about your writing, your creativity, the work that goes into creating your creations, and kind of give us how you first started. Are you a musician? And let me kind of frame the question right here. So I was in band. I used to play music before. This is a very musical household. Every single day I hear music when I wake up, because my parents live with me, and that my dad has like maybe 8 guitars in the living room, from like, a bunch, you know what I mean? I can't even name all the brands, from ukuleles to like Tahitian banjos and all kinds of stuff right there, even nose flutes. So I live in a very musical life. And so for me, like, this was all natural for me. This all came natural. Also, I'm a big tech head. So like AI also came natural to me too. And so like, how did it come natural to you, and how did you get into all this creativity?
Yeah, so absolutely. I guess it kind of goes back. Let's start with the whole music background. There isn't much of one other than my love for music. When it comes to instruments, I took a lot of years, and I mean a lot, at different levels, 2nd grade, college, anywhere I could. I tried guitar. I was awful. My fingers hurt. It was terrible.
I understand.
But I loved the idea of being able to create something. I just was terrible at it. And so I guess the most proficient instruments I really kind of learned were Rock Band, Guitar Hero, that kind of thing.
Did you have the Beatles one? The Beatles?
I had them all.
I love that one.
Yeah. But so the creativity has always been kind of in me in terms of writing. I went to college and my major was writing. So when it comes out to kind of having those ideas and telling stories, that comes very naturally to me. But it's only become more of a reality with AI. No more writer's block. If I don't like the way a certain line sounds, I can throw that in there. It'll give me different versions of how to fit it. So I think when we talk about AI music, a lot of people, if they don't get it, they're going to say, hey, you didn't do anything. Like, why is this anything? And I kind of argue that with, I did do something. It didn't just appear. What I did was I took my old writings, I've thrown them into a tool, I've reorganized, tooled the same verse over and over in different ways. So I look at the writing aspect as being the original content. I would never say I'm really a singer or anything because I'm not the one singing on these tracks. What I'm doing more is producing it. I'm more of a writer / producer. And so I take my skills, and because of these tools, I'm finally able to put something out there that, again, wouldn't have existed any other way. So if you're going to come out here and say, you haven't done anything to create, it's one of those things where I have some of these songs, they can take weeks. I have tracks that I've had in there since I joined Suno back in last June. And they just, no matter how many times I worked it, I just can't get it right. So there are just hours and hours of me replaying these songs, making sure, nope, I don't like how that sounds, back to the drawing board. And that's what's not seen, the amount of sheer time that you put into these things. And that being said, it's not the same amount of time that a true musician, if you're going to look at it in the old school way of things, might spend on an album. But I kind of think that's an advantage where, hey, I like how this sounds. I'm listening to it either way. I'm going to keep creating, and I can put out 4 or 5 albums in a year where you might be working on one, trying to get those guitar fingers healed or whatever you're doing in the span of a year or 2 years. So I do see both sides of it. Like, I know there are definitely people out there trying to make a quick buck off of AI music who are saying, hey, let me just put in prompts and generate and then put out whatever I can and kind of flood the market. I think that needs to be stopped. I absolutely do. I think there should be some creative aspect to it, not just prompting a system. But yeah, I think that's a conversation we can absolutely dive into. But yeah, so the background in the writing has kind of led to that. I need to give props to Casual. He's the one who really introduced me to Suno. He's the one who has those karaoke spaces. He's allowed my songs to be played there. So there's just like that introduction to that just opened a whole new creative outlet for me. So I need to give him props on that, and I appreciate it more than I can even say. But I also look at it as something that isn't said is it's such a good therapeutic tool, being able to kind of write and get your thoughts out there and hear it in a way. And I don't think enough people realize that, like, just being able to write and hear it is just, I don't know what it does, but it does something to me.
Well, I can relate to that because, like, whenever I get frustrated with something, I'll go start creating, you know what I mean? Or I'll play with my kids, right? You know, anything to make me happy. And but let's go back to the writing portion. I completely agree with you. Like, and I understand, like, AI has become a really good tool and also a crutch. And so how I got into the AI music specifically, because I've been writing music or just writing stories, right? And sometimes for me, a story can turn into music. And I'm not a music producer. If you want to talk to a music producer, he's in the chat. His name's Kryptoni. Shout out to you. But like,
he's
for
great
me,
too. Yeah, great guy.
He's awesome. And like, shout out to him. We met him in Vegas. But like, for me, I'm just a person that likes to create and like to create a story. And so I take my storytelling and I put it in music. And, in certain portions of that story, I break it down into verses and stuff. And that's what I do. And so when we did that AI Battle of the Bands, all those songs I wrote, I can't perform them. I don't have the medium to do that.
Right.
And even putting it into AI, I didn't just put that song and say, run to the horses. I spent time training that AI. And you know how Suno works. You have to train those personalities on top of personalities. And then once you get a personality, you lock that in. You work with that personality. You train that one. You lock that one in until it doesn't sound robotic anymore. And that takes hours and a lot of credits.
So long.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yes, yeah,
Yeah, it could take a
yeah.
week sometimes. Like Lois Lane, it took me a while to get that one right, and I'm really proud of that one because I don't do R&B music. I'm a reggae guy, right? So
Yeah.
and I was really proud of that one. So, but like for the Battle of
And
Bands, once we announced it, I spent the whole week working on those songs.
yep. No, absolutely. It is. It's even the one I had done for you guys. The ideas obviously are
Oh, they
there.
loved
The
it, man.
V
They
missed the
love that song so
drop.
much. They want to make it
Um,
an anthem.
no, I'm so glad that it turned out well. Um, if Biggest Bro's here, I'm waiting for a music video from him on that. Actual
He's hiding.
ability
He's
to
hiding.
just kind of, of course, the actual relatability to kind of tell those stories, and that's part of my music. There's so many different genres you're able to kind of fulfill, but I would say a lot of my stuff is like chill pop, whatever, or it's
Yeah.
kind of storytelling. So I have a lot of serious songs about emotional highs, emotional lows, but then I also have those party, chill, like just hang out back and vibe. So it's also something cool about AI is that you can do just that. With my first true album, this is one that I mastered and spent a lot of time. I released it on the 1st of this year. That was called Personas, and it was exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of how my first few things that I released, they do that. You go back, they sound robotic. It sounds like exactly what it was. It was me learning how to use a tool. It was me learning how to use the system, how to fine tune that writing. And now to have released Personas on the 1st of the year and kind of tackle different genres and different voices. There's a female voice on one song, then there's pop punk on another one, and then you go further down and there's going to be, you know, that stoner vibe song. So there's all these different kind of voices and stories on that album. And then I've took what I learned, and most recently at the end of February, I released Comics and Kings, and that's kind of a follow-up to it. A lot of those songs I was working on concurrently with that other album, but it's a lot more fine-tuned, and it's definitely within more of a pop, chill, kind of same vibe with a few serious tracks on there. But it's really been cool to see, again, when you look back in 2024, those first things I released, you can definitely hear a difference. So I'm sure it's the same with you. Anything you've worked on, especially as soon as upgraded, there's been updates to that.
So there was one song I was able to train the AI to sound like Sting, and that was a song that I wrote for the Biggest Bro when we used to do the community center stage, and we used to like showcase, you know, the people that are mainly not in Twitter Spaces, but like, you know, the other people that are like in the chats and stuff like that. So we really wanted to showcase, you know, the people that aren't really in the spotlight. So we made one for Biggest Bro, and I was telling D, I'm like, wow, that sounds like Sting. This is kind of crazy. And that was the only one where I could get it to not sound. A lot. You heard that one, right? I could never get that one. Everything else sounded like a robot, but that one specific track, and I took that track and I created personas from that, and I still use that same persona, but now it's evolved into something a whole lot better. So, and D, something's up with StreamYards. D, something's up with StreamYards. I cannot let you present unless I take my screen away. StreamYards, you're failing me here. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, D. You're muted.
Yeah, so I also wanted to touch on, like, you use your other creativity in photography as well, right? In your pictures, and also mixing it up with some music. So like, so this is his everybody that's watching, this is his music page on Instagram. So if you click on, you know, these scenes, which are beautiful, by the way, look at this sunset here. But yeah, there's it's not the whole song, right? It's like a little snippet of the song.
Just little snippets. Some have lyrics, so you can kind of follow along. Some don't. A lot of it recently, those sunsets and things, we've been doing hiking out here. The weather is perfect in Arizona this time of year. And we want to try to do the 52 hike challenge. So kind of getting out there 52 times in a year. We're already 21, I think we've done already. So we got a huge head start. The issue with Arizona is there's going to be 4 or 5 months where you can't even go outside. So we're going to be really ahead of the game, and then before you know it, we're going to be like, oh, can we get this done? But while I'm out there, I try to get some videos and clip it to the music just to give something a visual to it at least.
Yeah, I used to live in Costa Mesa, so I used to go visit my buddy out in Arizona, and I remember the drive was like a 7 to 8 hour drive, and like you could see coyotes late at night, and then you get there, it's like you walk out into an oven. So
you open the door and
in the summer anyway, right?
There's no way to
like,
really
oh my
prepare
gosh,
for that.
what is going on? You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from the East Coast originally. I grew up right outside of Philadelphia in Delco, if you will, hence the name. And so I'm used to snow, cold, and things. And now that I've been here in Arizona for the last 5 years, it's totally flip-flopped. When it's 70 degrees out, I'm like, where's the sweatshirt? I'm cold. Like back east, it was no issue. And now I don't even think I can visit back east.
You know, it's funny you say that. So we went to go visit. We went to Vegas this past November. We got off the plane and I looked. I'm like, oh, it's between 40 and 45 degrees. I was like, D, you've never experienced this before. And I told her when we were going there, you don't have to bring shorts, even though people said that there's a swimming pool. You don't want to go in it. We got there and she was freezing her ass.
Yeah, I mean, it was 49 degrees. Come on. 49.
I get it. I'm cold when it's 20 degrees higher. So
or 45? Well, all I knew was it was below 70, so that's not good for me.
Yeah, we were waiting for our Uber, and I remember we all had to be out in the cold, and you could see like the smoke coming out, and I could see her. She was trying to be tough, and I'm like, I know you're freezing your ass. You can be honest here. Take my jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I felt it before. So, but you know, it is what it is right there. So you have your this album, but you also have a newer album. Can you kind of tell the audience of what the newer album is and what inspired you to make this newer album? And can you pull that up as well, D?
Yeah, so that would be Comics and Kings. So that actually came out back at the end of February. It just got onto Apple Music. So if anyone's using Apple Music, it got there, I think, yesterday or today, this morning. But yeah, this one is definitely my most refined album yet. And I think that's kind of what you're going to see as AI gets better, as, you know, I kind of grow with the writing and the different tools available. I hope my music continues to get better. So when I look at this one, it's more of personas. Some of those songs I was writing, as I said, concurrently. So it was personas was pretty much done, but then there's a song on there, Red Flag Warning or Red Flag Morning. And that one I wrote when all the fires were happening in January in California. So it was really like taking kind of current events on some of these as well and amplifying those stories. And I've tried to do that with a lot of music. There's another one on there where the theme is kind of a step parent. Again, this is just a story, no relation to me or anything. But it's where a step parent essentially passes away, and it's that guilt that you feel of, hey, I should have answered those text messages. Hey, now I'd give anything for you to kind of show up at our front door. And it's kind of living with that regret. And so while a lot of these songs are real pop, stonery, hip hop, not even hip hop, just like hip and bop, if you will. There are definitely some heavy hitters on there, and I really like to see definitely kind of the stories I can tell, but also I want to give something where people are going to put it on a playlist. You can't just have downers the whole time and things like that.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. I love how you're being descriptive about you're pretty much telling a story about your song, and I love that, and I can kind of like relate. So like when I was making the songs for Battle of the AI Bands, you know, like I'm a big DC fan, so like I wanted to write a song, a love song, but like, you know, I didn't want to write a love song about my wife, even though I should, but because then I felt it was a little bit too personal to show that on a Battle of the AI Band. So, but I did want to write a love song, so I'm like, let me write a love song about a character in a comic book, and that's why I thought of Lois Lane. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Lois Lane's kind of like the Tom girl, you know, she's kind of like, I don't want to say boyish, but she's just very brash. I can envision like a Lois Lane version smoking cigarettes at school, you know, a little bit loosey-goosey, right? And so like that's where the inspiration of the song came from. And then I kind of like went and just kind of looked at my own high school life and like kind of incorporated that, you know, into like when I was dating, to try to like pretend like maybe I'm Clark, right? And so that's where I got the emotion and everything that I wrote in that song for that specific song. You know what I mean? And and a little other things though, but I
No,
can relate
absolutely.
to that.
Yeah, and as you said, I definitely have used my wife as inspiration for songs. So I get that, but there is that like, hey, I want to write a song about this. It's not about anyone, but it's also I just want to kind of tell that story. So I get both sides, and I've done both sides. And the stories, while some songs may be about certain things, a lot of it is just pulled from general living, a lot of life experiences. You know, I lost my father nearly a decade ago, and my whole childhood he had cancer. So I spent a lot of time going in hospitals, and I had a really grim outlook growing up on just kind of what life is and why are we here and this and that. And so it's like you kind of, when you're younger, you're not really sure of what you're living through in terms of experiences. But now being able to look back, being able to have the tools to kind of put those experiences, even if you retool it into a different type of story, pulling from that true pain, that true emotion, that raw emotion, I think that's really where the enjoyment's coming out of it. And as I said, therapeutic, but also if you can make a song you're going to want to keep playing, I mean, it's kind of a win-win at that point.
So be honest with me. How long can you sit here looking at Suno? How long? I'll be honest. As long as the kids are sleeping, I can sit here for like 4 hours straight and time just passes me by. And I've got like maybe 38 songs that I created. And I want to say like maybe 70% of it is crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, no, I hear you. The amount of times I've played those songs and replayed them, and then I hear something that I didn't hear the first time, and I'm like, but yeah, I'll lay in bed, and my wife will either be reading or she'll be asleep, and I'll be just having the phone up to my ear, like, okay, I like that, I can't put it down. And,
you actually use the app.
It's just one of those things too, where I use the app. I take it everywhere. Anytime a line hits, I write that in my notepad or my book, and then as I get more lines, I start tooling those together. So
I've never used the app. Is it any good?
Yeah, I like to always have. I like it a lot. It's a little bit simplified, but they've added some of the newer features in the last few weeks. But yeah, the ability to just kind of have it there, and then once I'm ready, hop on the computer and kind of get into mastering and doing all that stuff.
We believe you, Kryptoni.
It's just nice to have it. But yeah, I mean, he's on a whole different level.
Yeah, no, hey, wait, you're a Grammy Award winner. We get it, man. Yeah, I believe you, man. Because my dad's a musician too, right? And he's also a songwriter, and you know, he don't believe in AI. You know, in fact, he doesn't even know how to use it, right? So like, but yeah, my dad will like spend like weeks on end just working on one song. He wrote a song about me. I think it took him like 4 months to write the song. So yeah, I can completely understand where you're coming from, Kryptoni. So,
but
anything you want to add?
Yeah, I have about 5,000 generations at least that I've done so far in Suno. Like it's absurd, and that's just a rough estimate. It might be more.
Yeah, you got to use a search, right, to find your songs. Like if I don't put them in playlists, Delco, they get lost in the sauce, and you got to look for them if you didn't get the
different albums.
The like button on them, right? It's like, oh, I like that one. I got to go save it.
And then exactly, and then when some certain songs, like I like it, but I'm not done with it, so I move it from one album playlist to unreleased playlist, and it's a mess in there. But I get it.
Yeah. D, anything you want to add?
It's an organized mess.
Exactly.
Yeah. So from this new album, I really liked the first song on it, which is the Rooftop Remedy.
Yes.
But really like the one I really liked is from your previous album, Drifting in Time, and I messaged you about it. Called Ai.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ai, that's one that like I appreciate that. Yeah, that's one of those ones where, as I said, like you do make certain songs about a specific person or a specific thing. That one was absolutely about my son, and he was probably only about 2 at the time. He's almost 3. and he couldn't say open. So everything was ah-e this, ah-e that. And
Oh.
so it was just kind of like, I'm going to make a chorus that just says ah-e, but I'm going to make a whole song about like a love between a father and a son and what that is and what that should be.
That.
And so, yeah, and I look back at that and I think it's a great song, but as I was saying before, it's one of those 2024 early ones. Like one day I'm going to remaster some of those old ones because they don't sound as they should, but absolutely, like that's one of those ones where you put the emotion in and you hope you can get a response.
And so I remember telling you, I think it was like maybe a month and a half ago, I'm ready to release my album. And then, you know, they dropped different versions of personalities. And I said, wait, I'm not ready to release this album because I'm not happy now with what half of it I have. And so the next one is called The Uncommon Journey. And it'll be a little bit different. And I can't wait to release that one, but I'm taking my time. Some of the songs you've heard already, you know, in the Battle of AI Bands, some of them you haven't. One you will hear tonight, you guys, because tonight I'm going to debut one. Well, actually, we both have music videos, by the way. We're debuting tonight. So my song is basically based off of a story that I've been writing about a comic book that I want to make. Right now, I'm just writing the story. I need to figure out how to do the paneling and the art side of it all. Maybe I should hit up Dr. Punchman. Also, shout out to Dr. Punchman. He was the one who helped inspire me with Suno and kind of helped me, master the platform a little bit better. He was the previous Cryptoys arts director over there.
Awesome.
So. Hey, there it is. AE.
Yeah, you guys should go and listen to it. It's a really cool song.
It's one of those songs where if you just read it again, like AE, what is that? But yeah, when you get that background or you actually listen to the lyrics, because again, anyone can go ahead and generate and do all that, but it really does come down to, if you're just generating that music, you're going to get the same 5-6 lines. It's going to sound very generic. So it is about retooling the song and really putting something you've worked hard at into the AI and going from there.
So what I like to do, and you know, like everyone's like, well, what's your secret? And I'm like, well, just ask. I'm telling you, like, so I add attributes. And if you don't know what an attribute is, well, then you better TLDR, look it up. But like, I add attributes to all of my lyrics. So certain areas, you know, depending if it hits a bridge, you're going to hear a guitar solo because of those attributes I've added to that. You know, you can add different elements, instruments into your song, depending on where you put those attributes. Because if you know prompting, you know, AI will look at an attribute and be like, okay, you know what? This is this. And all of a sudden they want you to add this in there. Let's try it out. And so that's how I'm able to like have like guitar riffs in certain areas and have a violin playing a certain where.
Absolutely. Instrumental breaks, and you can do kind of backup vocals, echoing. You can do a whole lot. Just gotta know how to do it in the parentheses and build it down. And yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, is how in depth you can kind of get with it, let alone if you are musically inept, you're able to kind of put in beats, you're able to put in things that you are creating actively. If you want to sing, there's an option for you to kind of sing something and then see what it'll create off of that. So, you know, there's definitely, again, the general prompting, but there is so much depth and so much room to grow in that program. That the future is very bright with that as well. And I
toggle the custom button.
It's not even an argument. It's something I talk about with my wife all the time. She works in music. So really? So she, I don't want to get too into it, but she does a lot of stuff with a lot of artists, and she does about 30 to 40 shows a year out here in Phoenix. Not performing or anything like that, but actually working behind the scenes with it all. And so we talk about it all the time. Like, is AI ever going to be a threat to her job? And no, I think if anything, it's going to amplify the live music industry, because people are going to have this newfound love and respect for people who are able to perform, who are able to play instruments live, because it's almost going to be a bit of a lost art in the future. But then I also look at the AI side of things, and I think, you know, those same people that are performing live, there is a whole untapped market for metaverse type performances. And think of an X space and having that in the VeVe-verse and being able to have live entertainment in the background while you're all hanging out on another side of the room, and just kind of starting to intermix those things. So I always, it's very easy for me to see both sides of it. And I think there's just such unparalleled growth on both sides of it, that they can both coexist, and the chips will fall where they do.
I completely agree, and you know, like, and you can tell when someone just prompt. You can tell when someone is like
Mm-hmm.
a casual prompter, because prompting is also an art form. There are people that I know can prompt, like ChatGPT. There's a certain way you prompt, and you can make ChatGPT do a certain thing. I really
Yep.
think Grok has a really good way of prompting versus ChatGPT, where you can customize it better. But like,
Mm-hmm.
if you put different attributes, you tell it what to do in a certain way as you fill out your prompt, it'll actually generate something really awesome if you know how to prompt. But you can tell people are using the prompt on Suno because it's not great. And you can
Oh
tell
yeah.
it's not great because the words that it says sometimes, like I made this song called Rugged. And I said, okay, that's a pure AI song. I didn't do nothing to it. And you can hear it's an AI song
Uh-huh.
because it says weird words like beffers and all this. And like, there's no such thing as
Oh,
a beffer, right? But that's what happens if it's just
yeah.
prompting from the
Right.
AI.
Exactly. I've had some crazy things happen in there. Like some of my songs will end with just weird laughing and menacing, like
Yes.
weird voices at the end, or completely foreign languages in the middle of the song, and you're just like, well, that's not what I wrote.
But the
So
tune
yeah,
sounds good,
it
right?
is. And then
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
those songs, yeah, and you'll hear how I've come across people who just, they generally prompt something, they take it, they download it, and then they put it out, hoping people will listen.
They don't
And
edit
it's
it.
like you
They
hear
don't
it,
edit it
and then
out.
you get 30 seconds in, you're like, oh yeah, and you're like, I
Yeah.
hope they know it's like that, but they don't.
Yeah. No, they don't. And that's what I do. So everything that I generate from Suno, it literally gets produced off of Suno. I take it right off, because I have a massive editing software for the podcast. That's how I'm able to do the production here. And everything gets thrown into that. I edit everything out. I
Right.
change it to a WAV file. I do, I add stereo sound and everything to it to try to like make it better. But yeah, there's some weird stuff that gets prompted out of there. And you
Mm-hmm.
can tell, like you said, they just do a copy and paste.
Oh yeah.
D?
Yep,
Yeah, and
it is.
I think it's
But
so awesome
yeah,
that.
no, it's, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
It's the delay. There's a
The
small
delay.
delay. I'm beginning to work it out.
Okay, okay, my bad. No, I think it's so cool that you can at least share this with your wife, and she's like kind of in the same industry. I mean, different things, but to have that connection too, and maybe she gives you like feedback or whatnot. But that's really cool thing to have. And so just when I was going on the your Spotify account, you have like 7 albums and like 105 songs that you've already put out. Like, so besides Spotify, where else can people like find all your music?
Yeah, so Spotify was kind of the ultimate goal when I first started. I was like, oh, I use Spotify, so that should be where I put it. And then I realized, oh, it's actually kind of easy once you sign up with one of your distributors. It kind of creates the YouTube for you and puts it out there. So YouTube's there, Apple Music. There's been a bit of delay, but it's all on there as well. There's maybe 20 different platforms that music goes to. And so it's pretty easy to find. If anyone wanted to listen and they can find it, I'm happy to send it to them. But yeah, it's the process once you create the music is very easy. I was actually kind of astonished by that with all the different tech things I've done. I expected more of a headache.
No, I agree with you. So like, because I'm assuming you use DistroKid like me, and it's
Yep.
got a lot of. It's so easy for distribution. It's so cheap. Unless you want to have copyright content, then you pay for that. But like, and I don't use all 25s because like, that's it's so much, and I don't know half those platforms. So I try to keep it very
Yeah.
easy, and I try. So a lot of the times when I make the music, Delco, I don't charge for it because I use it in the production. It's mainly to get
Yeah.
around the YouTube crap that we have to deal with here with the partner program, because YouTube wants to monetize everything, our ears and our eyeballs. And before I was using a website where I was using their music, and they were licensing. They were sending me licenses. I was renting licenses, and it allowed me
Yeah.
to do copyright content. YouTube said, no, someone owns that stuff. Even though they gave me the rights, they own that stuff. You can't use that. I'm so sorry. But you can use our stuff. And so AI has been a really good tool for me to get around that. And so now, because I've gotten around that, I release all of our songs as an album. So if I ever get hit with something, and like some studio says, yo, this is copyright content. Yeah, from me, I have commercial
Yeah,
rights.
exactly.
Here's the link. Here's everything. So that's why I do it. And at the same time, for our audience, because they like some of the songs, I let them stream it for free. So I pick all the streaming platforms that's just free, like YouTube Music, Pandora. And so you can always find us there. But there are some songs that I'll probably put on Apple if someone wants to own it.
Yep. No, and again, you're doing it exactly right. I look at it kind of like the more options, the better. I never know. I may not use a platform. Someone else may find it somehow. The algorithm may go in my luck and put it in front of them. But it's tricky. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. So like I was at a party with my family and they're like, oh, we're locals here. Turn on the music, bro. That's how they sound over here, right? And so like I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I want to play our songs, D. I want to see if they figure it out, right? And I started playing a lot of our reggae songs, and it sounds good from version 4. And everyone's bumping, and no, I'm not saying anything. And so we're all just kicking back, talking story. And then my cousin's like, yo, bro, this shit is good. Who's this? I'm like, oh, Shazam it. And they're all Shazamming it, and they're like, oh, it's just they can't find him. Like, oh, well, sucks, huh? And then finally, like when I left, oh, by the way, I made all the music that you guys listen to tonight. Peace. You know
it's such a good feeling, isn't it?
What? You know,
it's something I'll see my wife every now and again. I'd probably drive her nuts with how much music I play all day long, whether it's mine, what I'm working on, or just music in general. It's just always going. And so every now and then I'll be playing one of my songs and she may not know it, and you'll just kind of see a head bump and it's like, oh, this is a good one. All right.
yeah, got her moving now. Look, she's in the groove, right? You know, so oh, that's awesome. I would love to collaborate with you one day, Delco. We should like do a collaboration one day. It would be really awesome. However you want to do it. You know, I've never really collaborated with anyone before on music, but I'd be willing to do that. I think we'd vibe really well together. So keep that in mind.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I already kind of have that down, that we'll be doing it. I actually, I haven't really collabed. Obviously, we did the Battle of the Bands. I did a song for my friend has a beer podcast, so I did something for him. And then the coolest one I think I've done is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Circle on Netflix. One of the winners. Yet. Yeah, it's like a social media reality TV show on Netflix. But one of the winners on there, we kind of got up talking and struck up a friendship. And so he does Twitch streaming, and I made a song for him for his cooking show. And so it's like, it's come full circle that I've worked with someone who was on a show on Netflix. Like, that was pretty cool. But that was definitely one of those moments where I'm like, man, like, I don't know how to handle this. Like,
take your flowers, man. Take your flowers and take the W.
But music just, on a cooking show?
Yeah, right. Just for their intro of the Twitch show. But it's really cool how it's, as you said with VeVe, it's kind of cool how this music as well is kind of introducing me to new people and different spaces where it is music centered, like the karaoke space with Casual, or some of the ones I found outside from that group. So again, it's not just the music, but it's also the networking, just striking up friendships because someone sounds something or hears something they like, and you're like, hey, here's how I can do it. Here's how you can do it. And I've had a lot of conversations behind the scenes of stuff like that.
100%. Same here. The networking has been the biggest value. I don't really care if there's an L that I took. That networking aspect has, I don't want to say paid back in tenfold, but it's really been a big value to me. I don't really care if like I'm underwater on a collectible, because what I got back in the friends that I made, the networking aspect with different projects, whether it be in VeVe, crypto, or other digital collecting projects, it's really been an awesome journey. But specifically the collaborations in the back channels as well, because just like you, D and I are also talking in the back channels as well with, you know, different collaborators, and it's going to be a fun year. I just got to say that. I'm looking forward to it, man. But real quick, so Canobes, we actually have 2 music videos that we're going to perform probably in the next 10 minutes or so. So kick back and wait. He wants me to play the Supergirl song again. I like that one too. But before we get into that, I kind of want to shift gears about Etsy store. It's my understanding that you have an
Oh,
online
yeah.
store. So could you kind of
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your store, how the project came along, what inspired you to start it up, what merch you're selling, and kind of give us a background on that.
Yeah, of course. So it's kind of a lot of the stuff I sell on there is local to that Delco market from where I'm from. The people of Delco, it is a very big thing there. They're just very proud, I'll put it. We are known for things.
Like what?
Especially if you take basically your average Philadelphia sports fan and you add a little extra to that, you'll probably come out with someone from Delco.
Okay.
So it's just
Very hardy neighborhood, huh?
yeah, it's thing. But with that project, I wanted to figure out if I could start a store, if I could kind of manage the social media. I thought that would give good experience. But I kind of started that when I left my last job around maybe 2 years after COVID hit. We had our son, and so I kind of said, hey, let's try to create some passive income streams. I'm going to stay home until he's ready to go to school. But I also want to have different opportunities to be bringing some money in. So this is just one of those where I spent some time learning Canva, learning different graphic design programs, and kind of putting it on shirts and different products, mugs, things like that. And that I'm going to continue to branch out with as different things become available. I would love one day to get a 3D printer. I think Evolved, maybe he just got one.
He
And I saw him
does.
posting
I
about
gotta
it,
hit
but I
him
would love
up.
to do something with that, kind of create my own line of I had an NFT project way back when they first started, and they were called Delco Dudes, and it was kind of a play on all your average people from Delco and the stereotypes behind it. And so I would love to make little figurines of them and see if that could become a thing. But there's a lot you could do. But the hardest part was just kind of getting it off the ground and getting those first sales. And then you have, it kind of grows from there.
How long did it take you to kind of like start your store, like from start to finish, from product to basically out the door, and the pitfalls that it took to get from A to B?
Yeah, it was actually a lot shorter than you probably think. Again, I was able to kind of put all of my time and focus on it when I was first starting it. So in terms of
Yeah.
learning the distribution side, which I use something called Printify, they have all the shirts, they have all that. So you just kind of have to upload the design, pick the item you want, and they handle all the printing and shipping. So that part's real easy. It's just kind of clicking process order and it goes out and they handle all that for you. The actual graphic design is the part that probably takes the longest. It's a lot like the music. You know, you have ideas, but
Yeah.
unlike AI, you can't really come up with the graphics the same way. It's not going to look good putting it on a shirt. So it is much more of a, I have to create these. I have to try to figure out what kind of looks good and kind of go from there. So that's the part that takes a while. It's the making sure the image is transparent, making sure the font is okay, making sure it's lined up. But the actual, like when someone orders and gets it out, that's easy. And that's all automated. So it's pretty cool. If anyone ever wanted to learn it, I'm more than happy to share how to kind of get that all started.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to hit you up because we had a couple lines of hats. I think we had our second line, and so like, and it's funny you talk about NFT projects. So I have a few. One of them was our hat line, where you bought a hat. It actually comes with an NFT, and it's a
I
paired
remember when you
thing.
guys were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think I minted 60 of them, but I think 40 something sold. So I actually have some extra that never really made the light of day. I'm not sure what to do with them, but specifically, we're not going to be in the hat business anymore because the distributor where we bought our hats, the first shipment got damaged. So then the second shipment, I paid out of pocket myself. And so, but in reality, we did this to basically try it out, right? To see if we could do this,
Right.
to see if we could launch an NFT project, to see if we could actually pull this off. And we did, but it was a lot harder back then using a distributor, or we should have used different distributors. So I'm thinking this next go around, because we're being asked for hats again, we're going to try something a little bit more streamlined going forward. Because
And they
these
have
guys,
hats. I haven't dipped into it, but yeah, the person I use, they have a lot of different products. So it's really cool.
okay, yeah, because like I think our guys would like, because once the damaged hats, I had to report them. I had to get them out. I had to fight them to get my money back. At the time, I ordered the new hats, so the guys couldn't wait. And then they still had to wait because they made the hats and they had to ship them here. It took a long time for these guys to get their hats, and I don't want to do that again to anybody. So,
Right.
yeah,
no,
I would love to have some conversation with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it set up and we'll get you taken care of.
Let's go. D, anything
Yeah.
you want to add?
I'm looking. I love tank tops. I've been looking at some tank tops and also mugs. Mug life.
Yes.
We gotta grow our mug collection. I mean, we don't. No, we can make room. There's some mugs that we don't need.
There's always room for a mug, right?
There's always room for a mug. Yeah, then I can what do you call it? I can chill it on the live stream, and I'm just like, drinking my coffee. If you guys want, go to the Etsy store. Yeah, so that's really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome to see that you got your business going on that. And yeah, if anyone's interested, go hit up Delco and his the store. And he also has what I'm showing right here is from his Instagram page as well. So yeah, go hit him up for some tanks.
A lot of different Instagram pages, and that's probably the part that's hardest is to keep up with those things. Like, it's not necessarily creating new products, but it's remembering to say, okay, now that I created it, let's go to this page and do that. But yeah, I'm slowly trying to build out kind of a Delco-esque brand that's known outside of Delco, where that be the music, where that be obviously the Delco by Design store here. One day I want to kind of continue down that writing path, wherever that may go. So there's definitely other areas I'm looking to grow, just different revenue streams, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome. And whatever we can do to help, promote it when it comes to fruition, just let us know. Yep, the producer's on it.
Absolutely.
Our son loves to produce. So we've talked about your store, we've talked about your art, we talked about your music. What's another goal that you're looking to further improve to start up for your business and also for your creations?
Oh man, I kind of touched on the 3D printing. Yeah, that's something I want to look into. The writing. When I went to college, as I said, I graduated with a degree in writing. And I always just assumed, I should have assumed, like, let's get a degree in business because that's where I'm going to end up. But looking at the writing, I would love to. My dad was an English teacher, so there's always been that love of just writing, not so much reading. I actually am not a big reader. I am not a fan at all. But I love writing. And I have so many books from years ago of just journals of different short stories and all of this different content that now with different tools like AI, I can kind of take where I ended that because I couldn't figure out what to do with it, kind of put that in and see where that goes and maybe kind of find a new avenue with the writing. That's probably the next step. I would love to maybe branch out. I had tried doing a VeVe podcast years ago. It was called VeVe and Me, and it was just like 2 episodes. I couldn't get a single listener. Yeah, I couldn't get a single listener on it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. It was like right after the bull run. So
come on. Do it.
I'll be there too. I'll be there.
Yeah, but that would be something I'd definitely entertain in terms of creating more VeVe content. Because as you see with the AR content, I love the photography. I love what you can do with the collectibles, how you can line them up and kind of create with that. But yeah, the next logical step, I used to do radio in college as well. I did the radio station there. So I have a background in kind of public speaking. Yeah. So I have a background in it, but it's been so long. And, this was the biggest hurdle, was getting on here and actually doing it. And now that
this is different. This is different from radio. This is different from radio. Like, you know what I mean? This is a completely different aspect to radio. But I remember I was an intern at a Hawaiian radio station, and I was so nervous. It was so much fun doing it. Oh wow, we could have like a long conversation about that.
The big board in front of you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah.
Wow, you're in radio too. That's so cool. And that's something people don't realize about me. I interned at a radio station when I was young. So for another time, guys. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah, no. So again, I just think that would be the next, hopefully, logical spot to kind of turn. especially as VeVe released the VeVeverse. That's one thing. I need to get my computers up and running a little better. I have a Mac. I just updated that. I got into the VeVeverse, but it was all dark, so I don't know if I need to clear out more space or what's going on.
How much RAM you're running on that computer?
I'd have to look. It can't be good. It's old, so
yeah, so
it might be
if you
time for
have
an
16
upgrade.
gigs, you're kind of like it's kind of laggy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even turning the lights on in the villa, so it's lagging.
Well, you know, the one thing that let's rewind about you starting content and maybe starting your own podcast. And I love the name, by the way. I would sincerely really think about reinvigorating that name, especially with the affiliates program launching next week. And we'll definitely come on as guests. Even Kryptoni said he'll sub to you. But when it comes to the VeVeverse, the one thing that I love about the VeVeverse is if you're creative, and I know you're creative, making content in the VeVeverse is easy. It's so easy. You just got to turn on a camera and start building something and then play your music, right? You can express yourself while expressing yourself. And that's the one thing I love doing is late night builds. I might even do that tonight because like I just like to create and I can get lost in the sauce, Delco. Like I didn't realize that I was creating last week Friday and I was doing it for 3 hours. I put my head up and there's like everyone's chatting in the chat and I don't even know what's happening half the time, right? Because I'm making something and people are actually watching that. So
yeah. It's awesome. And it kind of goes back to how I started with the gaming. I used to play The Sims. In fact, I think I have, if you remember this, the old Sims
goodness,
like, booklet that came with PC games.
Yes.
Yeah. So I spent so much time on that. And then, Roller Coaster Tycoon, all those types of building games. Minecraft is probably the one I spent the least amount of time on, and it probably became the biggest out of all of them. But there was something just about building and the ability to kind of take what you vision with the same set of tools and see what you create versus what other people create. It's so rewarding. And until you actually do it, you don't realize like that satisfaction of once you finally see it being completed.
And I played all the old Sim games, Sim Ant, Sim Earth, Sim City. And then I remember the Aptiva came out from IBM, and I believe it was Windows. I believe that was the first 98 machine. But I ran SimCity 2000, and I played that thing for weeks. I mean, and SimCity 2000, you not only had to build the buildings, you had to build the pipes, the electrical outlets under the ground. You had to get the water source in order for your...
it was so detailed. And then just for a tornado to come and wipe it all out.
And then so the VeVeverse comes out. I'm like, this is easy. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But I can get lost in the sauce with building anything. So like this reminds me of SimCity, and so like this was really familiar to me, and I just started heading to the races as soon as they launched it. Like I love the program, and I love how the program is moving so easily. And also, yes, if you're having issues, Kryptoni's right. Switch to performance mode or fast mode in your preferences, and your computer should run better.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll try that up tonight.
But let's see
your
here.
lights can be turned on. Need light in your villa.
Turn on your lights,
I have all these collectibles to see what I can do with them. And that's one of the coolest things about it, I think, is when you take a look at the collectible, you might have like Spider-Man, you might have the Punisher, some of these things, but it's like you start looking at the actual features like, oh, what can I use that part of the collectible for? What if I lower it down and I make this wider? Can I build something that totally isn't that collectible, but I can use it to create something that you wouldn't have thought of? I think that's one of the coolest parts is being able to kind of resize, retool what's already there and see what you can make.
Yeah, I like scaling them to the size that I believe they are in real life. Like I scaled I'm a big Galacta fan. I scaled that thing to the biggest size that I thought it would be. And like I couldn't believe the detail. I'm like, this is phenomenal. Like this is exactly what I've always wanted, my own Battlestar, right? And I have it in a virtual construct that I can build around, right? And I have all these ideas. Like I want to like slam the Galactica into like a rock and act like it crashed and like, build something around like a crash site. And so
telling stories, there you go.
Telling stories. That's it right there. D, anything you want to add to this? Because we're getting close to the tail end of the program.
From my experience, I'm loving when I get the chance to go and, kind of be creative. I'm actually more creative in the VeVeverse than I am in real life. So that's a plus. but yeah, just to create, and I get what you mean, Delco, with using like maybe a Spider-Man and resizing it a certain way to make it be used for something else. Because that's kind of how like
Yeah.
when it was just the Vaultaholics that were showing us what they created, like some of Mr. Fox's stuff, like the way that he used what was it, like one of the lights, or maybe it was like from Iron Man, and the way they blow things up to make it like a whole background.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's like, just playing with your creativity and just kind of pushing yourself to see what you can create. And most times, yeah, I surprise myself. I'm like, wow, I can actually
Yeah.
do this. I'm actually great. So
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
rewarding feeling.
yeah. So it's like, yes, I don't suck at something. um, but yeah, it's been a really great tool to just kind of explore and see what I'm able to create, and just seeing other people come up with stuff, and everyone's just having fun that I've seen. I haven't heard anyone putting people down or anything in regards to like what they're building and why they're in the VeVeverse building. It seems like everyone is just kind of
I was
enjoying
gonna
it.
say
And
it's been oddly quiet about it. I mean, I've seen
yeah,
nothing really but positive things and like just really cool creations. And I think that's a really good sign.
yeah, I think so too. It's like so positive of like, wait. It's like but yeah, it's good to see, instead of all the drama and all the bickering and people just kind of like going head to head on just collectibles. Like, come on now.
I know, and,
you
and that's
know
what I mean. There are bigger fish to fry out there. Like, come on, guys.
exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
We got Humble here downloading the Vverse now on my 12-year-old laptop. Let's see how this goes. And then we have Slider.
That
I've
sounds
been
like me
running
a
it
few
on
nights ago.
my I've been running it on my HP laptop with only 8 gigs, and it's been good. Things take like a minute to load up, but it's not that bad. He's probably got it in like a certain mode that the computer can handle. Also, D, check your DMs. Um, but before we continue on, Delco, I want to give the audience one last time to enter the community giveaway, and this has been provided by Atem right here. Shout out to brother Atem. This is the first appearance of Norman Reedus on the blockchain, aka Daryl Dixon, right here, The Walking Dead. Also, Delco, enter as well, and we also have something for you as well, Delco. I'll let you know what it is when we're done, but like, guys, enter this giveaway right now. Hashtag Aloha Spirit, as well as the second place right here. You get to win this Kid Arcade Light Parade exclusive of the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars cover right here, all created by hand from Kid Arcade himself. Enter hashtag the Aloha Spirit right now. And guys, back to our regular scheduled program. Delco, before we preview our music videos, I got 2 more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
what's another goal? I'm sorry, not what's another goal. What's some advice that you can give others who want to get up and do their own music and maybe publicize something? Like, what's the advice you can give them?
Just do it. Like, the tools are there now. If you can come up with just a catchy line or something like that, there are so many tools where you can just kind of take a sentence, even put it in, see what it creates for you. Just keep at it. Again, like I said, when I go back and I listen to my music from last year when I was learning it, it was like, I look back now and I'm like, ooh, it's a little cringeworthy when you hear some of these things. And now it's like, I've taken what I've learned, and you can just see that progression, but you're not going to see that progression if you don't start. So I think that's the biggest advice, is just start. And that's coming from someone who's always had that issue. I've always started and could never keep the consistency of doing something. So I think with my store, I think with the music, it's something I've stayed consistent with, and I've seen the growth firsthand. But again, if you don't ever take that first leap, you're not going to be able to see any growth whatsoever. And it's going to stay in that mind, and it's going to be that idea that could have been.
No, I agree. They call it a failure to launch syndrome. And I suffer from it
Yeah.
a lot. And it's okay. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can't finish something because maybe it can't be finished, but it can help you finish something else in the future that you're striving to do. And so that happened to me a lot, where I started certain things, certain projects, I started to learn something, and I'm like, either I get lost in whatever I'm reading, or I'm just not getting it, or I get to a point where I'm like, I got to stop. But by, going through that journey, it helped me overcome something else. So.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you. And I can hear my son screaming here. So I'm going to give you the last question. What questions would you like to ask us? This is what we always like to do with the audience. Now that we've pretty much interrogated you, we didn't ask for your social security number, unless you want to give it to us. But any questions for D and I?
Yeah, I mean, what's been the biggest? So as you had said to me, it's kind of like, what did you take out of VeVe? What's kind of kept you there? I assume it's going to be a pretty similar question, but I know you've kind of alluded to it in the past. You had that full circle moment with, as you said, My Collectibles. You kind of watched his streams. So what's it been like going from watching My Collectibles when he was streaming things about VeVe and about Web3 and his NFT collection, and what's it been to kind of go full circle, and now you're the one hosting that show, you're the one doing multiple shows, you're the one creating the content, you have the NFTs that you're giving to community. So what's it been like to watch it and now live it?
Weird. It's been weird. It's been different. So like, when we started this thing, so like, when we first started interacting with the community, it was in My Collectibles chat. And then when we went to Decon, we got to meet the community. My first Twitter space was with Silicon Secure. And then we started the VeVe Collective. And by doing the VeVe Collective, the one thing I wanted to do was to unite people. When we went to Decon 2022, we noticed that there was, groups, and certain groups got to hang out with certain people. Certain groups got to hang out with David and Dan. Some of us got to hang out with them just by luck. Like, my wife was able to have dinner with Dan for an hour with my daughter, and that was luck. Like all the back channel dinners and stuff, we weren't invited to. And so we hung out with a lot of the people that never got to hang out in those scenes. I like to call them the people on the streets. And so we wanted to continue that conversation for that specific people, right? Because there's a lot of us on the streets, and that's what started the podcast. And then, I love the fact we did that, because we've met so much people. I think we're at almost 100 plus first appearances on this podcast. And that's because we've been able to, and this is what I've been told by the biggest bro, is we've been able to make people feel comfortable to come up on camera for the first time. Like, we don't get ratchet up here, but we do get, he's living proof. We get passionate up here, but we don't get nuts or anything like that. You're not going to see me get vulgar or say silly things. I'll get passionate. And I think us being us, it's helped a lot of people feel comfortable. At least that's what I've been told. So that has been the biggest thing for me. And I know a lot of people are saying, you're here to get paid. I'm like, in reality, I'm here to perpetuate the space. It's okay for people to get paid, right? You know what I mean? Like super chats and stuff like that. It helps keep the lights on. But
you're the one here showing up day in and day out.
Yeah. And if we're perpetuating this space, then we all win. Everybody gets paid if that's why you're here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so that's the mission here. But we're not going to do it by focusing only on one section. We're going to do it by opening your hands and saying, come in, come, welcome. And so that's what we like to do here, is we like to welcome people with open arms. Some people have not been able to stay because, like I said, some people you can't reason with. But I'm happy to say that, we have people that we consider family now that I used to argue with on Twitter, that I thought was a futter, because you got to follow the herd, right? But then I decided, no, I'm going to take the time to get to know some of these people. Some of them, you can't reach to them. Some of them, I get it now. And I'm really good friends with them. Some of them helped keep the lights on in this place. And so that has been the full circle for me, is being able to connect with everybody. And when I mean everybody, everybody. If you really look at it, we've been around the town and back again. So that is the special part for me. And that's what I love about what we do here is the connection part, the networking part, like you said. That's the biggest value for me. What about you, D?
I'm gonna do my best here, and I might be talking really quick because the prince might be like talking soon. So the thing for me is it's been rewarding, and I'm not talking about like monetary value. It's been rewarding that we get to share, our geekness and fandom with other people like us. Like, I mean, we can talk about it too to some family members, but then after that, they're like, okay, like grow up and go do something else. Yep. So that's been really rewarding.
He's been very fussy. We tried to put him. He hasn't taken a nap in 3 hours, and like we've been trying to
I
get him
get
to
it.
take a nap. Yeah,
Terrible twos, the end tail end of that. I'm living through.
Don't remind me.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I've
Sorry, but
I've
it's
got
a
an
thing.
11-year-old who's 21, right? So, no, I
But
mean,
no, I also just real quick, I do want to say, like, you really have created that environment that you spoke of. Whatever Biggest Bro said, however he said it, absolutely true. I am someone who, yes, I am much more comfortable behind a microphone than I am even on camera. And that's always been what's kept me from YouTube, what's kept me from kind of doing all of that side of it. But I don't even go up in Twitter Spaces. I'm much more of a listener. Yeah, I have tons to say. I have tons that I think might be valuable and trying to get that out there. But I do want to say that this was a huge step for me to be able to come up here. And the only reason that was able to happen was because of the environment you've made.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I want to also hearken I want to call him, my blood brother in X Spaces, because besides us, Osmond Collects does a really good job at making you feel comfortable in spaces.
Yes.
So if you ever want to try to come up into a space, he would be the guy that you want to try. I mean, you could try with all these other guys. I'm not trying to discount anyone else. Everyone has their own style
absolutely.
and how they do
their
spaces.
I actually did do his show. I did get to the comics not too long ago, and that was my first kind of getting my feet wet kind of deal. And you're absolutely right. If there was a space that I'm going to go up in, his would immediately jump to the top.
But I appreciate you saying that. That is what we strive to do here. When I went to Vegas, people were asking for my signature, and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like, because I don't look at us as content creators. I've been saying it, even though I know the Biggest Bro says, well, you got 5 shows, you're a content creator. But I look at us as just like you guys. We just decided to turn on the camera, and I really try to like hone on that aspect that we are just like you guys, because then I hope that makes you feel comfortable to come up here, because like it took about like a good, I want to say 6 months for me to get out of my nerves. It took D, I think I got like a good 8 months to a year. But then after that, it's like it got really comfortable. And, I try to like help people overcome that as well. There's a lot of people that, doing this kind of stuff is not for them. And there's a lot of people that want to be a part of the conversation, right? There's, like you said, you want to be a part of this conversation. You want to talk about things, but, maybe you just haven't gone over that edge yet to hit the button, right? Like I'm coming up, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we want to try to break the ice for you to try to do that. We always say, you don't have to show your face. We just want to talk with you. We want to keep the conversation going, and we want to talk to everybody, not just the same people you see on YouTube all the time. We want to talk to everybody if you want to have a conversation. So I'm really happy that we make you feel comfortable here. And thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, no, it's been a
blast, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't wait to do that collab.
Yes, for sure. We're going to have to definitely talk about that. But guys, we're at the portion of the program where we are going to play our music videos really quick. And I'm excited for this. So let me get that ready. Also, guys, enter the giveaway right now. You're going to have some chances. Hashtag the Aloha Spirit. We have a McFarlane Toys digital that was donated by Atem. It's the very first appearance of Norman Reedus on the blockchain. Basically, Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. And you're also going to get a Kid Arcade Light Parade exclusive as well. Enter hashtag the Aloha Spirit. We will run that giveaway after we preview our music videos that we made for you guys. Now, Delco, we have a music video here. It's called Intergalactic Girl. It's not really a music video, guys. It's just a still image with music, but you see what I mean, right? But Delco, what's the inspiration by this song?
Yeah, this was one actually that you kind of inspired me on. So I was hoping we get to talk about it because you had mentioned that Lois Lane. So it's kind of like, you look at her. I was trying to take what you did with that. I wanted to get some of the synth because I know, if I remember correctly, you kind of like that synth vibe. And then from there, I wanted to go ahead and see what I could do. I don't know if I'm sure there's some Disney people out there, but when I was growing up, there was a Disney movie, Xenon, Girl from the 21st Century or
Heck
whatever
yeah, I
it was.
remember that.
Yeah, and there was like this old band, Protozoa, if I remember correctly. I'm really stretching my brain here. But there was this song, and it's always stuck with me. It's like the Zoom, Zoom, Zoom song from that. And so I just wanted to try to take like that memory, kind of put a vibe for something you might enjoy and kind of mix it together. And it's kind of like, as well as you said, I definitely look at my wife for some inspiration in it. And then, while it's not about her, I definitely used it for inspiration. So.
Oh, guys, get ready for Intergalactic Girl. Let's go.
This one is the spark of my flight. She remedies this mess, instant starlight. A touch so fine, she sets me free. Love me like a supernova, baby. Intergalactic girl, the fuel of my fire. Send me soaring into your empire. Thrusters turned on, breaking through. Intergalactic girl, she loves me too. Nova of the heavens, show me the way. Queen of the stars, rule this galaxy. I love to see all that you can do, but the best part of space is you. Intergalactic girl, the fuel of my fire. Send me soaring into your empire. Thrusters turned on, breaking through. Intergalactic girl, she loves me too.
Woo! Let's go, baby.
Awesome! Love that.
That was awesome. What'd you
Yeah,
guys
that was
think,
awesome.
guys? Let us know in the comments down below. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you.
And that was is that going to be on the album as well, or is that like a single that you just debuted?
That's just kind of a single for now. Maybe I'll put it on YouTube, something. But
I love
Very
it, man.
cool. I
That
love
was
it.
really cool. Yeah, I definitely
you.
going to school
Appreciate
my
it.
song. I'm going to tell you right now. So, everyone's got the
No
hundreds
way.
right here. Also, vegan. I saw your question up here. When official Hawaii meetup? Well, we have to figure that out, eh? We'll have to plan it because I remember vegan asking, like, if you ever come to Hawaii, yeah, let me know. Come pick you guys up. We'll have a good time. We'll take you guys sailing. We'll take you guys hiking on the volcano. Let's go.
It's definitely a
So,
place on my bucket list. I've done a lot
Well,
of traveling, but that is one place I have yet to be.
Well, now you know
Nice.
two people down here. Let us know when you're
Oh,
coming down. We'll
absolutely.
show you guys a great time, guys. We'll show you what Aloha
Of
Friday
course.
really is in person. So,
Live Aloha Friday.
heck
Perfect.
yeah. We're not going to be streaming, by the way, guys. We ain't going to be here.
Yeah, gone fishing.
Yeah, we've gone fishing. Exactly. You hear that, Mains? We've gone fishing. But okay, so here is the inspiration for my song. So I'm writing a comic book, and it's called The Unseen, and it's about a group of people, and you'll see the inspiration in the graphic that I put up, but it's actually tied to my NFT project. So essentially, it looks like a group of people, but in reality, it's these characters that are older now. And so I have a NFT project called Potty McPodcast. It's actually ready to launch, although I'm waiting for my family to finish the stories they said they were going to write. But it's all ready. There's a bunch of characters in it, and so those characters, I kind of imagine what would they look like, or what would they be if they turned into heroes in real life. So I took those characters, that same story, and I'm now correlating it into this story called The Unseen. And it's just a group of superheroes. And I'm not going to give away on the whole storyline, but let's say it's tied to my NFT project, Potty McPodcast. So, and that'll release soon, guys. I know I said I was going to release it last year. We wasn't really sure on the regulatory issues. OpenSea got served by a Wells notice, so I stopped making NFTs after that. And so I'll get back into it after that, since now we have more of a crypto-friendly government. But anyway, so this song is called The Unseen. It was a song that I wrote for the comic book I'm writing. I need to find someone to help me make the graphic panels, but here you guys go.
A world in motion, loud and bold. They hold its secrets untold. The unseen, the watchers of the flame, carrying the weight of every name. In the stillness they reside, the tide beneath the tide. Oh, the unseen, they never fade. Roots in the dark where the light's unmade. Through the chaos they remain, the silent pulse, the quiet vein. They see the masks that others wear, the fleeting joys, the cold despair. A step apart, they stand alone. Their thoughts a kingdom, their own throne. No need for cheers, no call for fame. They weave the world in a muted frame. The overlooked, the ones who know where rivers bend, where winds blow. The unseen, the watchers of the flame, carrying the weight of every name. In the stillness they reside, the tide beneath the tide. Oh, the unseen, they never fade. Roots in the dark where the light's unmade. Through the chaos they remain, the silent pulse, the quiet vein. They don't chase the spotlight's glare.
And there you go.
Love it.
I'm hoping to do something with that curator program that they're gearing up for. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm writing a comic book.
Love it. Love the comic. Love the image too. Just so cool. And that reminds me, just VeVe Radio. Great job with that too. I don't think I mentioned that at all, but everyone on that and everything you guys are doing there too, just awesome.
So that is all Raven, Big Bro, and D. And I love the fact that I help them with the production, but I am not in it. You know what I mean? That's the best part. And I tell these guys that's their show. Granted, I mean, it's under us, right? But still, it's their show. They can do whatever they want with that show. In fact, they told me to change the intro that I was using in YouTube. And you know how it is when you're a creative artist, right? You know, when someone tells you, change it. I'm like, but their show. And so you have to respect that. So, yeah. And I love that. And I 100% agree. These guys put in the work. I mean, it's
evident.
They
so
practice.
I just wanted to make sure I said. Yeah.
So, yeah, shout out to them. Yeah. When is VeVe Radio on again? She wants me to play the commercial. That's what she wants. We'll play it one more time for the one more time. But here we go. We got Kryptoni. I used AI before. Now that I think about it, I worked in a song for Rihanna, and I wanted to see how she would sound on it. It was crazy how much it sounded like she sang it. I know it's getting crazy. It's getting nuts depending if you're paying for a premium AI suite or something like that, and you know how to use the tools on there. It really can get very crazy. So the first intro was
that's probably the person to talk to as well. It's I've always wondered how much has been, how much has just been released to the public essentially, and how much in the actual music world has anything like those tools been used before. I think that'd be interesting to know. Just Same thing with like you know, the auto tune and things like that kind of blew up one day, where they used beforehand, and you know, now the public's just getting access. So it's interesting. I would love to dig into the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, for sure. Wes is funny.
Yeah, I tell you who it was, Wes. Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Here, I'll show it. Yeah, that guy right there. Love that guy, by the way. So, but this is the tail end of the program, guys. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. We have a giveaway to give away to you folks. So I'll give you guys. Go ahead, Dee.
We also have another donated giveaway. That was the whole check my DMs thing.
You don't say.
And I was like, I was expecting one from you. So I'm like, where? I don't see a DM from you. And then I saw him like, okay. So I can share it if you want.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for Dee to share, let me show something to you, Delco, really quick. It'll be fast.
Yeah.
We go right here. Oh, okay. StreamYard's changed their setup. So, all right. So this is going to you, Delco. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. This is a Batman from McFarlane Toys Digital, as well as one of our custom slabs from Devo itself right here. So this is a rendition of basically myself, Dee, and our daughter right here. And this also gets you utility into our Discord as well. And we're going to allow you to enter our UCBC giveaway this month. So you're not in our Discord yet. Come into our Discord. I'm going to get you. I'll let you enter the giveaway once. And we're giving away slabs in the Discord. There's 4 of them. I don't have the graphic up. I'm sorry, guys. But our UCBC giveaways are. Wait a minute. Is that Poof?
Ooh.
What? Poof? Look at that. Oh my God. It's Poof. Hold on. Yeah, I had to stop the.
Good to see you,
Oh
man.
my gosh, it's Poof. It's good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us. Happy Aloha Friday. Miss this guy. Good to see him. Anyways, I got lost in the sauce here. Delco, this is going to you, man. And then also in our Discord, you'll be able to enter our giveaways. So we'll get them into the Discord. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for showing that pretty face for the first time. And you're always welcome to come on. If you ever want to be a part of the conversation, please do. If you ever want to come and talk with us on VeVe, I usually show up on VeVe weekends. It's a lot easier for me versus the Wednesdays because of my work schedule, but I try. But anytime you want to come and collaborate, please, you're always welcome. You're part of the family now.
Hey,
so
no,
I
love the invitation. So absolutely, we'll definitely get at it.
Let's go. Go ahead, Dee.
I have my window.
Oh yeah, here, sorry. There you go.
Okay,
whoa. What is going on here, Brody?
Oh, that's too much.
Oh, there you go. So this is from Key Comics?
Oh my gosh. Like, what the hell?
It's okay. And it's signed.
Leave it here.
Oh my God. Brody.
Yes.
Brody, what are you giving away, Brody?
So this is Star Wars 1. And it's signed by J. Scott Campbell. Mm-hmm.
What? Okay, Delco, put your name in here, man. Seriously.
I'm going to have to, yeah.
Yes, you're going to have to. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is how it's going to work, guys. The first place will be the comic book. Second place is going to be the giveaway from Atem. And the third place will be the one from Kid Arcade. First, second, and third. Guys, give Key Comics a big round of applause in the chats. Big support of the channel. We really appreciate you, Brody. Thank you so much for giving this to the audience tonight. I really appreciate you, man. Wow.
And whoever wins, if you could please message him on X, Key Comics on X, with your mailing address. If you want me to be the middle woman, I'm more than happy to. Just send me your mailing address and then I can send it over to him, or you can do it yourself. Hey, Majin. What's up,
Majin? Majin, enter the giveaway. So cool. There you go, guys. There you go.
Delco? Okay, I see you right there.
And Poof. Poof, enter the giveaway. You can enter it too, man. It's Star Wars, Poof. I know you're a fan of Star Wars. Let's
It's
go.
open to anybody.
Open to anybody. All right. So, Delco, while we get the giveaway tool ready, hey, we got Chris Severs. Chris, enter the giveaway. Quick,
He's like,
man.
my ears are ringing. Star
There he
Wars.
goes. He's got it.
Jeez,
Khalees, you're here too. Let's go.
Khalees.
The fam's here. We got
Aha!
Marty.
Everybody comes out of hiding.
Key brings everyone to the party. Let's go.
Yep.
Anyways, Delco, I'm gonna pull up the giveaway tool right there. Thank you, Marley. Appreciate you for always coming by.
Perfect.
Final words for the audience. Go for it, Delco.
Hey, no, again, thank you for creating such a great environment and hosting this. It's been a pleasure to be here. And no, I look forward to continuing to create at least the AR photos, hopefully more for the VeVe community. But I just want to say thank you to everyone in the community because without them, who knows? I don't think my music would be here. I know it wouldn't be here. I don't think a lot of my friendships would be here. So again, thank you to everyone who's here listening, who hears this later on, and anyone who's in that community. There's something that kind of ties us all together, no matter how different our passions are outside of that. So again, appreciate it and look forward to doing it again.
Beautiful, man.
Awesome.
It has been such a pleasure to have you on, and I love to talk shop, and I love the fact that we have similarities on what we like to create and stuff like that. This has been a really, really fun conversation. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Dee, close out the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first off, just want to thank you, Delco, for gracing us with your beautiful face and having the courage to come and do that. No, seriously. And yeah, just thanks for the great conversation. Love talking about the music and, just being creative. Anyone that wants to support Delco, go check out his Spotify, all the music platforms for music. Also check out his Instagram and his Etsy shop. And yeah, thank you, chat, for being here and always supporting us and always tuning in for another great Aloha Friday conversation. So yeah, thank you all. I hope you all have a great weekend.
I hope you guys are ready because we're about to spin this, guys. We have 14 people out of the 100 people watching. So sorry. Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
That J. Scott Campbell. Thank you, Key Comics. Let's see who's going to be. Good luck. May the juice be with you.
Let's see. Chris!
Yes! Oh, I'm so happy for him because he is like a staunch collector and he's going to love this. Key, Chris got the comic.
That's awesome.
Let's go. Congrats, Chris.
Congrats, Chris. That's so cool.
We got to meet Chris in Maui. Awesome human being. And I'm so stoked that you got that, Chris. Let's go right here. Let's see what he has to say, guys. You're kidding? No, there's no kidding right there, brother. You got it. Let's go. He's got it. The force is with Chris tonight, but we're not done, guys, because we do have a Norman Reedus that we're going to be giving away. We have that Walking Dead of Daryl Dixon. Let's see who's going to be the next winner. Good luck, everybody, and maybe the juju be with you as well.
Good luck, everybody.
Marley, let's go!
Marley!
I love it. I love it. These hands are for you, Marley. And it's my understanding we have her wallet address. This is the first appearance of Norman Reedus on the Polygon blockchain. Thank you so much, Marley. This is awesome. And then finally right here, the last winner of the night. This is for the Kid Arcade Light Parade exclusive of the Black Suit Spidey. Let's see who's going to be the winner.
Ooh. Good luck.
Kryptoni!
Hey.
Let's go, Kryptoni.
Awesome.
Grammy Award winner as well as the winner tonight as well. And guys, that is the show.
That's
This has
awesome.
been such an awesome time. And my camera decided to like freeze up.
At least you
So-
lasted this long.
I lasted this long, guys. I'm fading out.
He's out of focus. Come
I'm out
on.
of focus. Anyways, guys, I guess that's time, right? I guess that's telling me right there. We're at 2 hours. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate everyone for coming in and hanging out all the
Yeah.
time. We will see you guys on the next one, and we will make sure that we get the giveaways out because I think we missed Tuesday night, D, but we are going to take care of that later on. Brody, thank you so much, Brody. You are
Thank
a
you.
stallion. Thank you so much, my brother. And guys, we will see you all on the next one. Take care and aloha.
Bye.
See?
So tune in every week and join the ride. We're the Real Uncommon Podcast, and we're here to provide